On today's show, Peggy Carter is in heaven. Does she have a +1? Clint Eastwood might attempt to put a pack of cocaine up his you-know-what. And look at this image from Pet Sematary. This is why I'm a dog person. Movie Talk starts right now.
Same.
I'm a dog person, too. Cats freak me out, man. They're creepy.
See, I was a cat person for a while, in between being dog person early in my life, and now I'm a dog person again. Hello to Molly, who I'm sure is watching at home. Hey, that's Jeff Sneider. Over there is Mark Yodi Reilly. I am merely Mark Ellis, and boy, what a lineup we have today. Chris Evans tweeting a lot of stuff, and we're getting real nervous about it. Before we get to that, this is the last show of the week. Tomorrow, I'm going to be at New York Comic Con. Definitely checking out the Wreck-It Ralph panel on Friday. Then I'm going to be going to New York Comedy Club at night in the East Village. You can get tickets at markellislive.com. One show only. Meet a bunch of special guests. Use the promo code Schmoes. Going to do a headlining set, Q&A afterwards. It's going to be a whole barrel of laughs, probably a lot funnier than anything you'll see in Venom. Not so much, because Venom was actually pretty funny. All right, let's move on to some serious stuff here. One of the best heroes of all time, our favorite from the MCU. He's just a kid from Brooklyn, and by God, his plucky desire to fight for his country led him from a skinny little beanpole all the way into a huge, hulking, steroided mass, and that is Captain America. He's been in an umpteen number of movies, played by Chris Evans, all the way back to Captain America, the first Avenger, through the Avengers Infinity War. Hell, he's the leader of the damn team. But if a tweet today is to be taken at face value, it appears that we might get our last glimpse of Chris Evans as Captain America next summer during Infinity War. From Chris Evans' Twitter account, he said, officially wrapped on Avengers 4. It was an emotional day, to say the least. Playing this role over the last 8 years has been an honor. To everyone in front of the camera, behind the camera, and in the audience, hey, that's me. Thank you for the memories. Eternally grateful. Well, this... Mark Reilly, I don't know what to make of this, because I went to Chris Evans' Twitter feed, and I like a lot of what that guy has to say on Twitter. I love all his cute dog pics, but this, I mean, it's just breaking nerd hearts all over the place. Is it true? Say it ain't so.
R.I.P., Cap. R.I.P. I don't know. You can never say never in the MCU. You can never say never in Marvel comics otherwise, but his contract's up. This is the Avengers 4 was the last, and unless they pull a Robert Downey Jr. and back up a Brinks truck and continue on, I would say that this might be the last one, but it's so hard to tell. Why would Captain America, of all people, go on Twitter and show his hand and show everybody that that's it? Avengers 4, I'm punching my ticket out of here. I don't think that's what he's doing. I think he's being very thankful to the fans. I think he's being very thankful to the crew and to Marvel. And he's signaling that I'm eternally grateful. But if maybe we start talking after Avengers 4, you can bring me back. It was done in the comics. I don't know, though. I mean, there's so many rumors. There's all this conjecture that he's not going to make it out alive in Avengers 4. I don't know if this tweet is tipping the hat to that.
There's a lot of different ways to read this. I'll be honest with you. You could read this as some sort of public negotiation to get a new contract.
Maybe.
This could be all part of the MCU and having them misdirect, having everybody say, oh, no, Captain America's going to die. Pay no attention to what's in the other hand, that being Tony Stark. Maybe he's the one that's actually going to die.
Yeah.
And that Captain America is going to be successful after all. Chris Evans has hinted a few different occasions that he may be ready to do something else with his acting career, with his budding directorial career. Jeff Sneider, Chris Evans, maybe the second most important person to follow on Twitter after yourself. What do you have to say about this tweet that he meant? Do you take it at face value?
Well, first of all, Chris Evans is definitely third. Okay, you want to go to Chris Pratt over Chris Evans. Yeah, that's right.
Controversial take.
Anyways, yeah, listen, this could be misdirection, like you suggested, but it also feels a little sincere. I don't know why he would tweet this, like, and let fans know that this is going to be his last appearance as Captain America. Although, obviously, I don't know what we were expecting. Like, you know, the contract is up. There's not going to be a Captain America 4, like Civil War. It seemed like a definitive end to that. To me, it's not a day of sadness. It's, you know, the guy served this character well, and, you know, congratulations and good luck with what's next.
Yeah, I don't think anybody would begrudge Chris Evans the role of saying, hey, bye, I'm out of here. I'm done with this. Chris Evans unfortunately, his savviness on Twitter, I think, hurts him here a little bit because he's just too good on Twitter to have something like this come out and for us to actually believe it. So
what makes him so good on Twitter? What makes him better than like Ryan Reynolds, The Rock, or somebody?
I love the way that he is able to have fun with fans. He just seems to walk the lines of being very political but never too polarizing.
Okay.
I think that he posts cute pictures of his dog. He gives back to fans. He does a lot of charity work. So he's a guy who clearly is in touch with the fans and what they want from their movie star. So he's not one of these people that is super famous, that just retweets stuff or that just posts, hey, my new trailer came out. Right. He clearly knows how to use Twitter in the right way. Well, and I think that somebody like that is just too smart of a social media user to give away the huge reveal that he dies. So either it's not that big of a plot line in the story, where, and maybe it will be a big plotline for sure, but maybe it happens earlier than we might expect it, or it's a total misdirect.
Because of everything you said, the savviness of this guy, I'm now leaning towards misdirect. I am. I don't think he would go on there and I mean, because every reaction, I mean, I just saw that tweet went out, and then I just, you know, you can like watch Twitter like move, like that thing when it was like tweet and then 500,000 retweets. It was just like and quote tweets, and everybody losing their mind that this is it. Say it ain't so, Cap. I can't handle my life. I'm going to lose my mind if he dies. Blah 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 blah. That's a little too much. Off of
people are reading into it. There are a lot of assumptions and leaps in logic being made.
Which I think is part of the calculated move. I think that's my point. Is that Chris Evans knows that people are going to read into this.
I think it's calculated, and I think it is sincere as well. I think he's thanking everything for realsies, and then Cap could walk off into the sunset and of Avengers 4.
Thank you. Why can't he get a happy ending?
Why
you know,
can't
like
he
this
get
could
a
be
happy
his
ending?
last day of filming. It doesn't mean the Cap dies. Maybe he gets a happy ending and says, "Listen, I'm hanging up the suit, or I'm giving it to Falcon."
Right.
You know, who knows?
Right.
Okay, Cap's happy ending is probably, you know, meeting Peggy in heaven. So that's his girl, you know. They're going steady, at least according to the 1940s. So maybe that is the happy ending. Maybe that is the happy setup. But honestly,
maybe
what else is there for Cap to do? After Infinity
exactly,
War.
we've seen him do everything. So it's like, what? How many more movies do we need with Chris Evans as Captain America?
I mean, you have Doctor Strange is going to continue, Spider-Man is going to continue, Black Panther is going to continue. So who's he helping there? We kind of assume that Spider-Man is going to have some sort of Tony Stark influence, regardless of whether Tony Stark actually dies in the next one or not. With Black Panther, is Captain America going to help him build some learning centers in America? Like, what is there for him to do? Because, like Jeff pointed out, he's already closed a great trilogy. So what else are we looking for? Anything?
Well, you could ask the same question about Robert Downey Jr. I mean, he got to a point, Iron Man 3, Avengers, Age of Ultron, and then we thought he was done. And then all of a sudden, Civil War is announced, and you're like, well, how is that going to work? Because Robert Downey Jr. is done. And then, boom, he's back. And it's like, whoa, he's back. And then he signed up for Avengers 3 and 4. And it's like, okay, so he's doing 2. Then he pops up in Spider-Man as a mentor. And you wonder if that's maybe he's going to follow the same course, like he'll pop in for a couple things and cameo and, you know, be like a mentor, or he goes up to heaven and he looks at his God and says, that's the way you dress. Yep, I know you. And he dances with Peggy Carter.
Maybe we'll get that in a post-credit scene, the big heaven scene.
Go to heaven.
Yeah.
They just see
a little callback to Avengers. There's only one God, ma'am, and he's pretty sure he doesn't dress like that.
There's only so many times I can see Chris Evans throw that shield. You know, he'll get Avengers 4. He'll go out with a bang, and now we get to see what else Chris Evans has in the hopper, what else he can do. And to that end, I'm stealing Ellis's line here, but he's joined the cast of Rian Johnson's murder mystery, Knives Out, with Daniel Craig. So that to me is an interesting next step. You know, it's funny that announcement came on the same day as this tweet. But if that is what is next post Captain America, I'm all for it.
Yeah, that according to Deadline is that Chris Evans is joining Rian Johnson's Knives Out. It's a murder mystery that he wrote this past summer when he was avoiding some people on Twitter. And so it's going to be Chris Evans and Daniel Craig are now going to be in that movie. I'm sure there's going to be more casting announcements. I'm excited for this movie anyway. I like seeing the other things that Chris Evans has to offer. I've enjoyed his work outside outside of the MCU. So let me do some betting odds with y'all. If you guys were going to go to Vegas and put some money on Avengers Infinity War 2, would you say that just Cap eats it, just Tony eats it, both eat it, or neither? Which of those four is the most viable option?
I think based on the source material, I would put it on...
Are you including tweets as source material?
Yeah, tweets are now canon. Shared universe of tweets that include my Twitter, his Twitter, and Chris Evans. I'm going to put my money on Cap only.
Okay.
Because of the precedent set in the comics.
You're keeping Tony Stark alive.
Yes.
Wow.
Because of the comics. Because we have lost Cap. It was at the end of Civil War. Or he did die. The mantle was passed to Bucky. I kind of dropped off comics a little bit, so I know Falcon is taking over. So we have two candidates right there, which personally for me, you've said it, Sneider, how many times can we see Cap throw the shield? I think an interesting dynamic to play with moving forward after Avengers 4 is to pass the mantle and to see what that legacy will do to a new character, what it can do in the MCU, create new Avengers, with Spider-Man as a part of it, and Black Panther, and like we have a new crew. But I think Cap is the one that would that would hurt the most.
I think it's going to be. I think it's the emotional weight is there if one of them goes.
Yes, absolutely.
That has made the stakes worth the emotional investment, right? Or do you need to see both in order to make this epic 2-movie journey?
I am going to Vegas tomorrow night, and believe me, I do wish that I could bet on this. Kill them all. Kill them all. Kill them all. Reset. I think that you need to.
It's a good album.
You're saying goodbye to Chris Evans. This is not going to be the last kind of tweet that we're going to see like this. There will be others, whether it's Tony Stark or Chris Hemsworth or who knows. I think that you need to get rid of Tony Stark so that the Spider-Man movies take on a little extra oomph, because there's no safety net now of Iron Man, swooping in at the last minute to save Spider-Man. I think that is how you sort of build that up. I know that is not a Disney-owned property. Marvel is involved in the production of them, but it's obviously still Sony. So I don't know how that would necessarily help Disney's MCU, but God, Robert Downey Jr. has played Tony Stark for so long. It's time to wrap it up.
I think that definitely one of them is gone. I tend to think it's going to be, boy, if after today, it's harder to make this bet, but I still think it's going to be just Tony. I think Chris Evans is going to survive. Now, whether that means he's in other MCU movies is a whole different conversation.
Right.
But survive, I think Tony's gone. I think that Chris Evans survives. I don't know if he tries to pull Will Ferrell from Wedding Crashers with Pepper Potts at Tony's funeral. We'll have to see that post-credit scene, but I think that it's not going to be both of them. That might be too much of a blow for the fans to handle. So I do think Tony's seeing it. But I am distrusted what I'm hearing out of these two young men on the panel today, because they're telling me they're tired of how many times can Cap throw a shield. I don't know, Jeff. How many times can Tom Brady throw a slightly deflated football? Mark Reilly, how many times do you want to see Reggie Bush try to lateral? You guys love your athletes, and you never want them to retire, but you said you're tired of watching Cap throw a shield.
I didn't say I was tired, did I? I said I understand that we've seen his character.
I'm tired of it, yeah.
We've seen his character. We've seen the growth of his character.
Boring. Captain America is fundamentally boring.
I disagree with that. He became one of my favorite Avengers over the course of Winter Soldier, Civil War, the Avenger movies. But I'm commenting on the source material of seeing some interesting dynamics at either Bucky or Falcon, what that does for the story, rather than being tired of Chris Evans and or the character. So
defend yourself.
So there.
I always liked Chris Evans as Captain America. I think he does a very good job in the role, but the character is a Boy Scout. There's nothing interesting about someone who acts like a Boy Scout.
You're literally talking about your quarterback right now, and it's making my head hurt. The comparison.
I don't need Tom Brady to be interesting to me. He just wins championships.
You just want him to win.
He just entertains us in movies. He's a leader.
Cap just wins.
He can take any ragtag group of heroes, like what Tom Brady does. Anybody you plug in there, Tom Brady's going to get them to the playoffs. That's what Cap does.
So you were when Civil War came out, you were Team Cap instead of Team Iron Man?
Well, I'm not going that. I'm not.
I was obviously Team Iron Man because Tony Stark is more fun. I don't know.
Yeah, why do you hate Tony Stark?
How could you be?
On me.
Yeah,
that's what happens when you're the host of the show and they start attacking you. You move on to the
Cap
next
movies
story.
are better than the Iron Man movies.
Look, we're taking this story. It was a
Okay.
nice thing to talk
Fair enough.
about. We've done it for 15 minutes, and now we're taking the Chris Evans news, and we're going to take it out to the graveyard that's just on the other side of the road over there. We're going to bury it, and hopefully it doesn't come back to attack us, although given the way that we break news around here, we're probably going to hear from Chris Evans' Twitter feed again very soon on Movie Talk. In the meantime, my long allegory was in a reference to Pet Sematary. Got our first image from Pet Sematary. That is the iconic cat church that first appeared on screens in 1989. Before that, in the Stephen King source material, Pet Sematary. These are the images. Hey, that's John Lithgow as the neighbor who says sometimes dead is better. This is your first look at the Paramount Pictures remake thanks to Entertainment Weekly. The movie comes out spring 2019. Hey, Reilly, we are less than a year away from this movie. And as somebody who was very affected by the original Pet Sematary, I saw when I was like 7 years old, me and my sister convinced my aunt, we fudged the truth, said that our parents would totally be fine with us going to see this movie in the theater. She took us, and I've never forgotten some of those images, including Zelda, who is going to make an appearance in this film. Zelda's going to be there. All these other characters, the pets that you know, Gage the kid, don't let him go on the road. Reilly, April 5th, 2019. I know where I'm going to be, getting scared in a theater. You there with me?
I'm there with you. I snuck into this movie, the original. I snuck in. I'll never forget. Santa Ana, Main Place Mall. Walked in there, bought a ticket for something else. I don't know what it was. I can't remember what it was.
1989. I'm going to guess you bought a ticket to Indiana Jones and the Last Crusade.
Could be something else. I don't remember, but I do remember sneaking in, and it was a later showing, so it was kind of, there was a few people in there, snuck in, went in the back. And boy, that was a mistake. That was a mistake.
Was it Zelda that got you too?
Zelda got me. Gage got me. The cat got me. I mean, everything got me. It was like, remember Fred Gwynn and that tendon? I had nightmares on that for some reason, but this is a great movie for an update. I love the Starry Eyes director. I think the Starry Eyes is a fantastic horror movie. If you haven't checked it out,
yeah,
please
Kevin
do.
Kolsch and Dennis Widmeyer.
Yes, it's a fantastic movie. I think it's a great idea to tap them for this. We're in the renaissance of Stephen King right now. We are. We got Pet Sematary. We got It Chapter 2. We got the Tommyknockers coming with James Wan producing. We got, what else do we have, Sneider? We have so many of these Stephen King movies. This is going to be the first one to come post It, and you know, in the middle of this renaissance. I can't wait to see it. That church image, stop it. Look at that thing.
Yeah, it's not something
good.
I would take home.
No.
Even if it
Give
was
that thing a bath.
My cat, yeah, that's just even with the bat, that's not something the bat can cure. Jeff Sneider, are you adopting this cat? Are you adopting the remake of Pet Sematary?
I am. I actually think that this looks cool. I like the cast that they've assembled for this. Jason Clarke, it was a good get. John Lithgow, good get, and I like Amy Seimetz too. I really like the original Pet Sematary. I think it's just super creepy. Gage is really what gets me, and I'm sure I saw it at a young age, and I probably thought like, our Pet Sematary, like, is this real? Is this a possibility?
Did it affect you the way that it affected Reilly and I, or maybe you saw it on the small screen? I'm imagining first.
Yeah, I saw it on VHS. Yeah, exactly.
Not quite the same effect.
Probably not, but and I didn't love Starry Eyes, but I respect those guys. I like Kolsch and Widmeyer. I think that they were a good hire for Paramount to do this. I'm looking forward to this, and all like the King reboots, because Pet Sematary, as good as it is, it's not a classic that shouldn't be touched. Like, you mess with Carrie, you're not going to be able to match that De Palma original, and that's why we've seen a bad Carrie sequel and reboot and all this stuff. But Pet Sematary is the kind of King property that I think is ripe for a reboot, and I'm looking forward to seeing what these guys do with it.
Yeah, it's going to be a hot time in the theater at April 5th. Oh, boy. Ooh, yeah. I'm already dreading it. I hope they don't show us what Zelda looks like ahead of time. I think that's probably too much to ask, because they're probably going to throw Zelda in a trailer in another one of these images. But I might have to invoke my past, where occasionally, even though I host this show, I can just not look at an image or a trailer, because I do not want to know what Zelda looks like until I'm in the theaters.
Jason Clarke is really interesting casting for this, because I feel like he's been miscast in some big movies movies, like the Terminator movie. Like
Yeah.
he's not that guy, but here, I think he has real acting chops. I like the photos that I've seen of him with like this haunted look on his face. He seems to fit that family man mold. So I'm looking forward to seeing what he can do with a recognizable title and property, but not one that's like $150 million.
Did you dig him? I liked him in the Planet of the Apes movies.
Yeah, I thought he was great in that.
As
Yeah.
that, did y'all see Chappaquiddick?
Yeah,
I missed Chappaquiddick.
He was fantastic.
Good. He
Yeah.
was good.
Yeah, good
My
stuff.
dad loved that movie. That's for my dad. That movie is like
It's a dad movie.
It's a dad
Definitely
movie.
a dad movie. You guys want a dad movie, really an anybody movie, but particularly a dad movie? First Man coming out next week. Oh, that's a damn good dad movie.
Yeah.
Okay, well, I want to remind you guys that we have a cool thing coming up October 13th and 14th. It's an event that Collider Games is teaming up with Showtime and Festival of Disruption. They're going to preview the Twin Peaks VR experience. It's at the theater at Ace Hotel. So you go to Ace Hotel. You can just go to Collider.com for all the details. It's in Southern California. Make sure you guys check that out. An all-new Jedi Council dropped today, and a Schmoedown is going to drop tomorrow. Just quickly before we move on to the next story, Jedi Council was today. I just want to get y'all's take. I want to take the temperature of the room. The news dropped today that the Jon Favreau Star Wars series is going to be called The Mandalorian. It's going to follow the events of another warrior in The Mandalorian, kind of like Jango Fett, kind of like Boba Fett, right after Return of the Jedi, but not by Force Awakens time, so in that in-between period. Y'all like that?
I love it.
Okay.
I love it. I love it. And it's a great idea. It's Jon Favreau. I love the Mandalorians. I know that we're going to get, your first real canon of that warrior race. I mean, sure, we had Rebels and Clone Wars where we were introduced, but for me, I love the idea of exploring it in live action with some great actors, a great filmmaker behind it. And I'm hearing rumors that Dave Filoni will make his live action directorial debuts with some episodes in that series. That gets me excited.
Jeff, you a fan of the Mandalorian announcement today?
No, I don't care. It's
Not at all.
He's not a Star Wars guy.
It made it sound like remember that SNL sketch, The Californians? I'd like to see that, like the Mandalorians,
Oh,
or like the
God.
Pixies song, Mandalorians. No,
Man.
I have nothing else to add about Star Wars.
This is like when you're on the highway and you pull over and you're just stopping for gas and you just keep driving down that road. And I regret
don't
stopping.
even-
Look what you've done.
Yeah, now our car's broken down.
Just
We gotta
waving
call
as you
AAA.
continue. Yeah, whatever. The Mandalorian, great.
I think it sounds pretty cool.
He's from Mandalore.
You gotta wonder if you're
Yeah.
gonna get a Boba Fett appearance in there. Did Boba Fett, because it's gonna be is Boba Fett gonna get out?
Look at the smiles on their faces. I just love that Star Wars brings you guys so much joy. It makes me happy to see you happy.
Good. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's Star Wars, man.
Yeah, I mean,
Not a Star Wars fan, huh?
The announcement. I'm not sure that there was going to be an announcement that would have made me say I'm going to wait. But this announcement today probably got me to pay for the Disney.
Oh,
streaming service.
I'm buying that thing. I'm buying it, and now you just got me thinking too. Why not bring Tamura Morrison back as Boba Fett and see what happened? Him crawling out of the Sarlacc, and then something happens. Are you?
Save it for the
Are you
Jedi
upset?
Council.
Yeah, taking over.
Okay,
Taking
well,
over.
before Adam gets the cattle prod out, let's get back to talking about movies. And the next one we have is Deathstroke. But hold your horses. Unfortunately, we're not having any news updates about Deathstroke. It's simply the purported director of the film that was to star Joe Manganiello as the villain from the DC comic universe. Gareth Evans was going to be directing it, and the Raid directors quoted as saying that although there were promising inclinations towards getting this movie off the ground, nothing really went beyond those conversations. Evans was quoted as saying, I haven't heard anything for a really long time, to be honest. Every time I see an article written, I keep wanting to ask, okay, what is it you guys know that I don't? We don't know either, Gareth, because I haven't heard anything for a good while yet, so I don't know if it'll ever come back to full circle. I know I haven't had any conversation about that project for a long time now. So, look, there's other movies that DC, the DCU, Warner Brothers, in conjunction with DC Comics, are working on that, frankly, I'm more excited about than a Deathstroke movie. I'm a fan of Manganiello. I think he's a cool actor. I think he'd be perfect as Deathstroke, but you're talking about giving me that weird Joker movie that somehow I'm excited about. You're talking about Aquaman, Wonder Woman 1984. Shazam and Birds of Prey. These are all movies, maybe with the exception of Shazam, because I still want to see more from that to really give a crap about it. Like, Deathstroke's a character that is built in. I'm going to be like, oh yeah, what's going on with this guy? Shazam's got to sell me a little more. Other than that movie, though, there's 4 or 5 films that have been greenlit and that are in production right now, Jeff, that I want to see before I see a Deathstroke movie. Where do you stand on this?
Yeah, this was never going to happen. All due respect to Joe Manganiello, who I love and adore, and hey, death lives. Death
saves.
Lives, death saves. Yes,
Death saves.
Forgive me.
They're doing a
Death
thing
saves.
in New York Comic Con on October 6th.
Great guy, but as far as like what do we know that he doesn't know? Like, I don't know. I could have told you this movie would never get made. It's just listen. They're spending, what is it, $55 million on the Joker, who's a marquee character with an actor like Joaquin Phoenix. Like, a Deathstroke movie, unless you're doing it, and if anybody could have done this, Gareth Evans could have like made like a kick-ass action movie on a budget at like 20 to 30 million. But there's no way that Warner Brothers was going to spend 50 to 60 million like they are on Joker, let alone 100 million to 150 million like they are on Aquaman and stuff like that. There's no way they were ever going to spend this on Deathstroke. So I know that these talks, these meetings sometimes bubble up to the surface, and because it's DC or it's Marvel or whatever, reporters like myself, at the trades feel like we have to report them. But I never, ever thought this was ever a serious movie that was going to happen.
Well, I look at it less as a budgetary concern for Warner Brothers.
But it has to be. What do you mean?
It is if you don't know where your current universe is going. That's why that Joker movie is such a great concept, because it doesn't cost that much to make, and it also is its own standalone movie, because they're still trying to figure out what the hell is going to happen in the DCU. So I don't think that they want to greenlight movies that are more farther ahead in the future than what you already have with Aquaman, than what you already have with Wonder Woman 1984. We still don't know what the hell's happening with Batman.
But with Wonder Woman and Aquaman, are any other characters in those movies?
I would not bet that they are, because Aquaman's going to be in the water, and Wonder Woman.
We do know what they're doing, and it's not a universe.
It's slowly splintering away.
Yes.
It seems to be doing that. I don't know. I think they were...
If these movies are a hit, and I'm looking more at you, Aquaman, than Wonder Woman 1984. I think we know Wonder Woman 1984 is going to crush Aquaman. People walk out of that movie and love it. They love Wonder Woman 1984. All of a sudden, you announce a good casting as Batman. You say Henry Cavill's officially back. You can continue to do this, and then at that point, that's why, Reilly, I'm telling Joe Manganiello, don't go eating donuts just yet, okay? Yeah. Stay in shape. Sure you will. Enjoy playing Dungeons & Dragons in the meantime, but have your phone near you, because a year down the road, they could call you and say, hey, remember that Deathstroke movie? Gareth Evans is free. We want you to be free. Let's go make this movie now.
Yeah, you both brought up good points on the business side of it, on the fan temperatures, what's going on with DC. I think that Evans probably had a few meetings, but nothing else. And then it's reported, and what's happening is there's so much going on behind the scenes. They're throwing a lot of things against the wall to see what will stick. One of those that stuck was Shazam. They liked it enough to say, you know what, we're going to go and take a chance on Shazam, because out of all of them, and you know me, I'm screaming and yelling for a Man of Steel 2, but out of all of that, your big three, Batman, Wonder Woman, and Superman, only Wonder Woman made it through. And then you're telling me Shazam is going next? Okay, and I happen to really like that trailer. I can't wait to see how that turns out. But this, I'm like, again, I don't want to, originally I was like, this just goes to show you that DC has no idea what they're doing. No, they're developing a lot of projects, and the one that really is sticking is going to go through. Shazam is that example. That's one of them. Wonder Woman 1984, it was an obvious no-brainer because of Wonder Woman. We have the Batman coming. Matt Reeves allegedly turned in a script that everybody liked. Now what? I don't know. You're right. Then we go to your point, Mark, which is, don't eat donuts, Manganiello. We could probably bring you in sooner.
Are there any other characters in Shazam?
No, I mean, that was the whole.
We're talking about 3 movies: Shazam, Aquaman, Wonder Woman, 1984, that are standalones. That's what they're doing.
Yes.
There's no DCEU anymore. Like, they already blew it up, and you guys just haven't noticed because there hasn't been a headline telling you. But if you open your eyes and pay attention, you can see what the strategy is. It's right in front of you.
Okay, look,
Yes.
neither one of us are holding out some sort of hope that, no, please don't blow up the DCU. I wouldn't argue with anybody if they said we are blowing it up. But an official announcement hasn't been made. I think it's fair of DC right now to say we're not sure. We want to see what the box office results. We want to see what the fans have to say before we make an official announcement. So you're right. It could be trending in those offices right now, but it is not firm yet because they still have Cavill as of today, and they could announce a Batman, and you could be right back in business if these movies do well. If they don't, totally agree with you that it's just going to go off and drift somewhere else.
I still think they're trying for that shared universe, at least if you might know more than me, Snyder, but the Henry Cavill news comes out from THR that says they were trying to work out a cameo in Shazam
To make it connected.
Right?
Yeah.
So, but Cavill seems to be walking because there's no Superman plans. And then in that same article,
As he should.
Right.
Why is Henry Cavill being offered cameo roles in a Shazam movie and not his own movie?
Preach. I'm with
I'm
you.
not disagreeing
I'm
with
just
you.
like, these
you.
are like, no wonder he turned it down.
But I'm less to agree with you on that they're blowing up the shared universe. But to take that point, I think they want Aquaman to go and perform well on its own. Wonder Woman perform well on its own,
and then team them back up somehow.
and then maybe down the line, yes, team them up.
I just don't know what indication we've gotten that indicates that they want to continue with a universe.
Okay, look,
The Shazam
I'm
is the only
I'm going to give you
example.
metaphors where my belief is that with the current DCU, okay? I think that the current DCU is like, let's say it's like the old Minneapolis Metrodome, right? And they have it wired up. They're wiring the dynamite on it right now, and they are ready to hit the button to implode this whole thing and build it from the ground up. But if they have movies come in there and they start doing well again, they have the right to say, hey, we never made an official announcement. Let's start taking that dynamite back because all of a sudden people want to come back to this particular building.
I just don't think official announcements even mean anything. Like, they announced, here we're making a Cyborg movie, and here's the logo of the Cyborg movie. That doesn't mean that they have to make a Cyborg movie because they announced it,
Right. That's what they've been doing.
Wouldn't it be interesting, though, if reporters had to sort of put a rating on their stories as to how confident they are that it's going to happen? Like, I have no doubt that Gareth Evans was at one point in talks to do a Deathstroke movie, but if that original story had come with like a 9 out of 10, Boris Kid is positive this is happening, or 3 out of 10, Boris doesn't, I think that would be
There was just a meeting, so
Right.
3 out of 10.
Let me ask you guys this. I do like that rating idea. What does a news story like this, or lack of news stories, it turns out, do to a director like Gareth Evans? Because Gareth Evans, just from that quote, seems like he's really tired of people asking about this movie that he was announced as being attached to, and now talks haven't happened in forever. Does news like this encourage Gareth Evans to say, I don't want to work on these kind of movies anymore? Do you think that could affect a director to that magnitude where they're like, look, I am so sick of every interview I do, people asking me about this movie that I've been attached to that I have not heard a damn thing about?
It's a good question.
Yeah.
I think that all directors are sick of answering the same question about this these kinds of movies. I think that press is getting feeling more and more like a responsibility to some of these people than something that they actually look forward to. However, I think that him simply being connected to a Deathstroke, possible potential Deathstroke movie at Warner Brothers, was good for him in the long run because it showed that a studio was willing to hire this guy to make a big movie, and it signals the rest of the town that it is okay to hire this guy to direct a big movie because somebody else thinks he's capable. That's all.
It seems to me like when we were talking about Christopher McQuarrie's quotes earlier this week that he's like, hey, man, I love answering these questions. I am ready to make a movie at the drop of a hat. And Gareth Evans is like, did you guys see what I did with The Raid and The Raid 2? I don't need all this other crap.
Maybe. I mean, I think to your point about Christopher McQuarrie, I think he had fun sitting on set with Henry Cavill. Oh, this is what I do for a Superman movie. But then you go to the Star Wars thread. Do you remember Christopher McQuarrie jumping in to help Rian Johnson and then defended him? And then at the very end of that thread, it was like Christopher McQuarrie goes, one time I wanted to make a Star Wars movie, but nope, you people are awful.
I can't blame him.
I don't blame him one bit. I wouldn't blame any director whatsoever to look at social media and go, F that.
The scrutiny is insane.
It is absolutely insane. I mean, you look at this, like an actor comes out. I mean, there's like, hey, I bought a comic from, the Penguin. It's like, Josh Gad is the Penguin. Oh my God, he's the Penguin. And he's like, whoa. It's this thing that is inherent in our business now. It's social media at its worst or finest. Your results may vary. I just think yeah, why would he?
You used to be able to make a movie and then you would present it to the audience and now it's their turn to weigh in. But nowadays you have to make a movie in a pressure cooker, and I don't think that is a welcoming environment for anybody.
And they're judging that movie before it even comes out.
No, they're
like
judging on
the
every
first
choice.
image from EW. I mean,
before that,
Terminator Salvation or Jenny Smith, Terminator Genesis. Remember when those images came out? That movie sunk right away. The social media reaction on that, including all of us sitting at the movie talk table, were like, wow.
Say, you're kind of talking about the stories that we just did 15 minutes ago.
No. I mean, but again, your results may vary. Pet Sematary, we're positive. We were like, great, look at those. But it's determined by trailers, by first look images, by casting, by director. That movie is judged before it's even out there, like to your point, Sneider, before you can even see it. I'm totally guilty of that as well. I just think to your original point, Ellis, that, what does Gareth really need with this? I think he just simply this. He had a meeting. He had a few ideas. He was attached already. Manganiello was. And it's like, sure, I'll do a Deathstroke movie. And then...
Is this something that looks like you would bet if you were a studio head, you'd put $100 million on? Or even $75 million?
Not today. Not today.
Not with the... I think that...
I need to know who's playing Batman. Sorry.
Yeah, me too.
Need to know
me
who's
too.
playing Batman.
And I think you could, if DC did, let's say in an alternate universe, the Batman v Superman was critically acclaimed and $1 billion grossing. Same with Suicide Squad, and then we get Wonder Woman, and then Justice League crushes. I think they could put that up.
This movie's coming out. Yeah.
This movie's coming out just like Guardians of the Galaxy came out.
Sure, but
that's the only one.
That's anything.
Yes,
right.
But there's your what if
scenario. We're leaving the alternate universe. Say goodbye to your talking wolf pals in Narnia, and we're coming back down to Earth because we have a scoop, and this apparently is a 10 out of 10 as far as the credibility scale goes from our own Jeff Sneider. And it says that Eddie Marsan, the character actor, has joined Universal's Fast and Furious spinoff Hobbs and Shaw. So Eddie Marsan, he's really good in the Ray Donovan show, amongst other things, and he is going to be joining Hobbs and Shaw. So Hobbs and Shaw is Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson and Jason Statham. It's a spinoff of the Fast and Furious movies. It's a spinoff because they didn't really want to invite Vin Diesel because he just takes too many damn naps. I'm not sure why they didn't invite him or why they even want to do this movie, but it does sound like a lot of fun. Add in the fact that David Leitch is directing it. Add in the fact that Vanessa Kirby's joined the cast and she's playing Jason Statham's sister, who may have a romantic interest with The Rock's character. So, wow, this is going to be one crazy version of love, one crazy ride. It's going to be fast, and it's going to be furious, and it's going to be in that universe. Jeff, the movie comes out August 2nd, 2019. Do you like the addition of Eddie Marsan to this cast?
I do. As I wrote, I think this guy is the consummate character actor. He elevates every movie that I see him in. He's worked with some of the top directors in town, J.J. Abrams, Spielberg, Iñárritu. He has worked with David Leitch a couple of times now because he's in Deadpool 2 and he's in Atomic Blonde. So he's kind of become David Leitch's like Lucky Charm. So I like that he's along for the ride here. I don't know what the role is. To me, sources described it as small but significant, like maybe one of like a late in the game cameo kind of thing. I actually, given what a family affair these movies have become with Jason Statham's character, Helen Mirren, Luke Evans, I was like, well, who plays the Shaw's father? Like, could we see his father at some point? The character is supposed to be deceased, but maybe in a flashback or something. But
was an uncle,
and maybe that's what it is. But I did look it up just to see if he could play Jason Statham's father. He's actually younger than Jason Statham. Jason Statham's 51. Eddie's only 50.
Maybe he's a brother.
So maybe he's an Interpol agent or something like that who teams up with Dwayne Johnson's CIA agent. I don't know. Feel free to speculate.
Mark Reilly, Eddie Marsan, maybe David Leitch's good luck charm. Is he David Leitch's Clint Howard?
Looking that way so far, I guess. Echo everything you said to the table. He's a great actor. Anytime you put a great actor in a franchise that I'm lukewarm on, I'm a little bit more excited. I like the idea of these two. I like the idea of Marsan. I like the team behind it. Never been a big Fast and Furious guy, so maybe that's because of Vin Diesel. I don't know. He's always just like fine to me. So this to spin it off, give me the first trailer, then I don't know. Sure.
All right, Reilly.
A movie with The Rock, though, and Statham and getting the majority of the screen time
Is
from the director
good.
John Wick.
That's fun.
I think there's a lot of potential there. Idris Elba is going to be a cool
That gets me
villain.
excited.
I think
Idris gets me excited every time.
That's a big play. But does this movie sound better than what you have gotten from Fast and Furious as somebody who's not?
Absolutely. Every time, with the Hobbs and Shaw spinoff, the casting when it was Idris Elba, I was like, well, yeah, now we're talking. David Leitch, I've been enjoying his work. I really have. I think
Kirby was good in Mission Impossible too.
Yes, exactly.
She really stood out.
So that always gets me a little bit more excited because when you're on the 8th of the franchise.
Right.
And you tell me that one of my favorite directors working today, F. Gary Gray, is coming in to direct. I'm just like, sorry, what a waste of talent. Like, F. Gary Gray could go do, like, Men in Black gets me excited because it's like a fresh kind of start and, Tessa Thompson and Chris Hemsworth, and that's more exciting. But, again, I've always gone back. Fast and Furious is just not my jam. So,
all right,
get me excited with this. That's fine.
Mark Reilly does not like it Fast and Furious. He prefers slow and steady.
Slow and steady wins the race.
Before you move on, this movie is technically supposed to open the same day as New Mutants.
I saw that August 2nd is the release date.
Do you
for both
think
of them
Fox
right now.
blinks and moves New Mutants again now?
Yes, I do.
Yes, I do. Yeah, absolutely.
These two movies don't open the same day.
Yeah, they're even if they hated New Mutants and what the reshoots are happening, and they're currently underway. They just finished with, according to Josh Boone. That movie has so much riding on it that even if they don't have a lot of confidence in it, it's not a movie that you just release and bury and forget about. It's still something you want to make it the tentpole for that weekend. So there's probably some other fertile ground in August of that next year, and if not, you push it back to September.
Yeah.
But you remember that movie that I thought was a cool trailer, Darkest Minds? It came out first weekend in August, and it just I saw an ad for it that it was coming out on Blu-ray or VOD, whatever. I was like, oh yeah, I totally forgot about that movie. Kind of want to see it.
Yeah, and Fox has no problem putting a trailer out there with a date and then changing it.
As we've seen.
They're fine.
Even the same day. All right, well, we are going to save some time for your live Twitter questions. Got to do it quick, so tweet us at Collider Video. Use the hashtag Collider Movie Talk. We got one more story to get to before Jeff Sneider can go drink and watch the New England Patriots probably beat the crap out of the Indianapolis Colts today. I think.
Let's hope so. Let's hope they can take him. Julian Edelman's back.
Yeah.
Back in the saddle.
Edelman's back.
Speaking of saddles.
Josh Gordon.
Speaking of
saddles, I guess you could saddle up a mule if you want to. We're talking about
a horrible segue.
You put more knapsacks on there.
I did a terrible
more
job
more like 2 water buckets.
I'll leave the jokes to you, Ellis.
Just leave the segues to me. By God. The Mule.
Segue king.
For God's sakes.
The new trailer, the Clint Eastwood directed film, hits theaters just in time for possible award season consideration in the middle of December. It stars Clint Eastwood as well. It stars Clint Eastwood, and it's directed by him. Clint Eastwood plays an aging drug mule. He had another career. He wants to feel important and do something with his life based on a true story. Bradley Cooper plays the Fed, hot on his trail, trying to crack the case. It's got an impressive cast. You also have Andy Garcia, Diane Weiss, Michael Pena in there, Lawrence Fishburne. I am excited to hear about this movie. And then when you couple it with the trailer, that trailer was really well done. There was speculation from even people on this show, maybe even the one talking right now, that the movie's coming out because it got pushed up. And are we thinking, is it award consideration, or is it just because Bradley Cooper is going to be having a hot name because he's going to be coming off all the award consideration he's going to get for A Star Is Born? After seeing this trailer, the movie looks pretty darn good in its own right, Mark Reilly.
I love this trailer. That opening of the trailer, I was invested immediately.
Really good.
It's really good because then it's all of a sudden you're like, the dog starts freaking out. I'm like, oh, shit.
You ever been in that situation where a dog starts at the airport? I've had dogs freak out around my bag, and I'm like, I'm pretty sure. You know when you go to the airport, and they say so many times, they remind you, like, did you pack your own bags? And it's going through the TSA thing. You're like, did I pack my own bags? Yes, I always pack my own bags. I've never tried to bring Coke into the airport, but I get nervous about it when the dogs start smelling.
More of a Pepsi guy, huh, Ellis?
Yeah. Dog stopped me.
God.
Dog stopped me once. Yeah, that's a story for another time.
It sounds like Mark Reilly had more to hide.
Tune into the Reilly Roundtable on Wednesdays.
Yeah. The dog sniffed me out, and I was like, and they were like, anything you want to say? I'm like, Slept in my fraternity house last night.
Tune in to another Reilly Roundtable.
And scene. It was a long night at that airport.
All right, I think
I'll
we're
tell
all
you that
listening to Reilly's podcast next week. Snyder's going to be Reilly and special guest, the dog that smelled Mark Reilly. What do you think about the trailer, Jeff Sneider?
I think the trailer looked awesome. I think it looks great. I at first questioned why they would release this movie in December, since they already have Aquaman coming out like 5 days after they've dated this. But I think Clint Eastwood really was unhappy with the February release earlier this year for the 15-17 to Paris. And rather than hold this over an entire year, like it's either you go end of the year or you go at the beginning of next year, and that didn't work out for him the last time. This is a really interesting story about an elderly drug mule. I think you're right that Warner Brothers is probably angling to capitalize on the A Star Is Born buzz with Bradley Cooper. You know, they've got him in a supporting role in this. What's also interesting, I think this is probably more of a commercial play than an awards thing, but if it is an awards thing, if it turns out to have that kind of moxie behind it, you got Clint Eastwood going up against Robert Redford, both playing aging criminals, which I think is kind of interesting.
And the Old Man of the Gun's really fun.
I
enjoyed the hell out of it.
Yeah, I'm glad you liked it.
Oh, you both saw it.
You should check it out, Reilly. Really, Robert Redford's super charming, but I wonder if he's a little miffed at Clint now that he's throwing his hat in the old man Oscar race.
See, I want them to see each other's movie and then be like, you know what, we should do some sort of crime movie together.
Yes.
And then that's our respective swan songs.
I would love that.
All right, well, I want to remind you guys, once again, you can always tweet us at Collider Video, use the hashtag Collider Movie Talk, and you can get this as a podcast. You're watching us on YouTube right now. Thank you for your patronage. Subscribe right here to Collider Video, and once you get us as a podcast, you can do so through Apple Podcasts or through the Podcast One app. You can also check out Mailbag on the weekends, where we answer your viewer email, and you can check out Afterthoughts with Brian and Jay. They love themselves some fizzy water. All right, we're going to do one tweet, and then we're going to call it a day and a week. You get one tweet, and it is from Robert Reynolds. And Robert Reynolds says, if you could attend a house party by a musician or famous celebrity, which one would you choose and why? Fun fact about me, I don't go to house parties. I love the movie franchise. I hate house parties. I hate being in somebody's house at a party. I want to meet at a bar in public. I can come and go as I please. You go to a house party, there's rooms, there's bathroom lines, there's everybody's taking each other's beer.
100% opposite of how I feel, which is that I haven't been invited to a great house party in years. Somebody invite me to your house party. I missed them.
It might be a reflection on,
no ugly sweater party at the Reillys this year? No?
Are you doing an ugly sweater party?
Probably.
I couldn't go to the last one.
Yeah.
So I was at the Last Jedi premiere.
You're at the Last Jedi premiere?
I think I was there too. Yeah. Sorry, we missed that.
Yeah.
Sorry, we're just off in Toronto seeing movies and going to premieres. You had a party?
Yes, I had a party. And it was a great party. It was the greatest party.
I was going to come. I was going to come after.
I thought you came. I thought you met us later when we got kicked out because we were so loud.
No, I was going to, but I texted you guys from the limo on the way back to the studio.
Oh, there was a limo, was there?
Oh yeah, it was a big limo too. And it was going to be me and I think Perry and Wendy and Knapsack. But the problem was we didn't hear back from you for like 20 minutes, and so we were already going to Burbank. And then you texted us and you said you got kicked out. There was like a noise violation, and we're like,
we went to a bar.
Go home.
Yeah, we were shut down.
All right, so if you're having your house party this year, first of all, I'm in because there's no Star Wars movie. It's going to be a conflict. I'm not taking the Mary Poppins premiere over here.
I don't know. Yeah.
Who's going to be playing your house party? What musician or celebrity?
I want Ryan Reynolds. Ryan Reynolds.
That's fun.
Is really fun. He's got some good peeps in his life. Blake Lively. We got a great couple there, a power couple coming in, and they got gin. They got a gin company. They can just throw that in there. House party, Ryan Reynolds. He appears drunk later that night in Deadpool. Things get wacky.
Okay, Jeff, the bar's been set pretty high.
This is an easy one for me. I definitely want to go to Seth Rogen's house party. I know there's going to be a huge bong. I know there's going to be some chill peeps there. My girlfriend loves Seth Rogen. I like Seth Rogen's wife. It seems like she'd be a good host at a party.
I have never heard you sound more like an undercover cop than, hey, there's going to be a huge bong, some cool peeps. Where's the party at, kids?
Seth Rogen, you call me next time you're having a party. I'll help you throw down.
Seth Rogen, don't call Jeff because apparently he's a narc. So I'm going to take take, for celebrities, I'm obviously taking Kid and Play. I want them back at my house party to have a house party. If I'm taking musicians, I think you guys know the obvious answer. It is a risk inviting Van Halen to play your party nowadays because Eddie versus Dave. I don't know. I think they're getting along okay, but that might just be when they're on tour. So I'll take Sammy Hagar and the Circle. It's Sammy, it's Michael Anthony, it's Vic, Sammy's guitar player, and Jason Bonham, the son of John Bonham, the legendary drummer for Led Zeppelin. And they're playing the OC Fairgrounds this Saturday. And I'm going to miss it because I'm going to be in New York. And that's how you wrap a show up. I'll see everybody in New York tomorrow night. Thank you guys for tuning into this week of Collider Movie Talk. I want to thank Jeff. Where can the kids find you?
At the end, Sneider, if you dare.
All right, playing the day of this Snidoldo this weekend in fantasy football.
That's right. I've been on a losing streak. I got to take you down.
I have to make some switches because I'm a little nervous about it. Mark Reilly, where can all the kids find your invites to the house party?
At Reilly around Twitter and Instagram. And by the way, breaking news: first look at the Mandalorian revealed just now.
Mandalorian.
There it is. There it is. Yeah.
Did you really just say that so he would start singing?
No,
that was
but
a good outro.
it's for real. It's for real.
Right.
There it is.
I just typed Mandalorian into Twitter.
Star Wars officially announced the directors and the Mandalorian.
Does the Mandalorian
we can get
have a
this
name?
man with no name. We can
like
end this
Dave
now.
the Mandalorian?
Oh dear God! I just saw it myself, and
yeah, it's pretty cool.
Pretty
cool.
It's pretty cool.
And Dave Filoni definitely directing.
All right. Well, we got to go look at pictures of Star Wars. Have a great weekend, everybody. Be safe. See you Monday. Hey, everybody. Mark Ellis here. Thanks for watching this episode of Collider Movie Talk. You want to watch more? Then click up here, or you can click right here for more great content from Collider. And if you haven't subscribed to Collider Video, do so right now and share this vid with your friends. Thanks for watching.